Morning, morning, and welcome to our second episode of budget building off-grid. And in today's episode, we're finally getting our greenhouse up, which is really exciting. So this is a 6 metre by 3 metre by 2 metre, or 20 foot long, and it's a budget greenhouse. So we're going to have a look at the quality, see how easy it goes up, but it's going to be a game changer here on the wildlands. So enjoy tonight's episode. So welcome back. It's glorious weather today. It's the first day where we've got sun all day. So there was actually a harsh frost when we got up this morning, which is synonymous with better weather. So warmer and sunnier in the day, colder at night. So we've got a full day of sun today. So we're going to try and get up the new Polytunnel greenhouse, which, as I mentioned in the intro, is 6 metres or 20 foot long, 3 metres or 10 foot wide. So it's going to go in this area here behind me. So the first stage, whenever you're putting a greenhouse up, be that off-grid like us or in your garden, is to clear the land where the greenhouse is going to go. So the first thing we had to do is remove the pallets that we put down for the previous greenhouse that we were considering building. I'm going to put this greenhouse, the Vevor, straight on the ground. So we're currently also weeding as well. So let's take a look at that. So we're just going to measure out where the greenhouse is going to go based on the chicken entrance at 6 metres there. So we debated off camera, and what you can see is roughly where the black pots are there. I feel like somebody on a plane now, and the black pots here, as demonstrated by our cabin crew here. So really we can only take the greenhouse back as far as we can go towards that cork tree, and we can trim off some of the branches. So what we've decided is the greenhouse as it stands has a roll-up door at the front, a roll-up door at the back, and on a later video we're going to replace those with wooden doors and a wooden frontage. So we were going to have 2 doors both ends, but obviously can't go through that end because it's a great whopping tree in the way. So might still put a door at that end for ventilation, might not. We'll show you that in another video. So now we're going to clear all the back, move all the branches, get them in a big pile, ready to burn them at a later date, and we can get the frame up. Oh, it says hard work, we're all knackered now. So the area is pretty much clear around here. So you can see where we've marked out, where we've cleared it. And we're going to put wood chip down, but we'll wait for the greenhouse itself to be up. I'm still out of breath, even though I stopped raking about 10 minutes ago. So yeah, that's stage 1 done. Ground cleared, nearly flat. And then we'll start getting the frame up shortly. Go. So this is a Vevor greenhouse. It's the largest one in their range, and I'll put some links in the description so you can go and have a look at them yourself. So this is a budget build. We're going to look at the quality of the Vevor, and we're also going to make sure that it's not going to go and blow away when we have some gales later this year. So we're going to do some upgrades. So we're going to peg it to the ground, as I mentioned earlier. Later on in a separate video we're going to put a door on the front and maybe the back. So let's have a look and see what we've got in the box and get this beastie uppy. So what we got in the box then, Rose?
Best way to open a box this is a proven box opening method.
We go. Should we lift out the cover? Oh, it's lighter than I thought. Pop that
That's
over
what's
here.
all the weight. Hundreds of metal poles.
Oh,
goodness.
And a lot of poles.
Can I grab that in?
Yep.
Set more.
Big bag of bolts. So that's everything that's in the box. So different packets of poles are all grouped together to make it easy to build, and then the green cover that goes over the poly frame or greenhouse. And worth noting that all their greenhouses come in clear or green, and I think I mentioned earlier we chose the green because hopefully it might give us slightly a bit more shade, even though in the height of summer we will put a shade cover over the polytunnel as well. Okay, so what's first, Missy?
We've got to lay out these, which are the number 3 pole, into the shape of the base, and then we connect them together with bolts, and then we put the uprights around.
Okay.
Step 1.
Yep. So the next chore is to tighten up all of the nuts on the frame, which is easy but fiddly, and you've got to be careful not to over tighten them, otherwise it squashes the pipe work here. And there's one nut on every join. So there's a number of things we're going to do to pimp up our polytunnel. The first thing is I've made some vampire stakes, and what we're going to do is we've got 6, 3 either side, and I'm going to bash them into the ground, and then we're going to use cable ties to attach the frame to help it get stability so it doesn't blow away in the wind. And then other jobs to pimp it up: the front we're going to put a door on, which will be in a separate video, and then inside we're going to make budget staging or plant seed tray tables. We're going to make them out of pallets and some very cheap wood, which again I'll show you in another episode. Well, that's surprisingly hard work, that is. And then trusty cable ties. Fucking hard work. Good. So it's the exciting bit now.
Yay!
Gonna put the cover on.
Ta-da!
Ta-da! So there we go.
Ta-da!
Ta-da! Greenhouse, Polytunnel.
Very cool.
So this is a Vevor model, and it's the largest one in their range, and I'll put different links in the description below the video for you in case you're interested in getting one for your garden. But we'd recommend it. I think it looks really nice, isn't it? It's
I think
really
so.
cool.
But we're not done yet, are we?
We're not
We're
done
going to
yet,
make
no.
it look so special.
And it's already hot in here, isn't it?
It is. It's warm and humid. It's only had a little bit of sunshine on it, so I have high hopes for getting seeds started, which I'm going to start tomorrow.
Yep.
Fill up with seed trays, and have some trees up at the end, some avocados and stuff. So I'm very, very excited.
I'm really super excited too. So the next job is we're going to put wood chip on the floor.
Yes.
Maybe level it out a bit, because these divots here are where we had the breeze blocks from where we were going to put the previous greenhouse build. So we can level that out. The wood chip will help insulate the floor a little bit, make it look pretty.
Yeah.
And then, as I mentioned earlier, down this side, using pallets, we're going to build budget staging or greenhouse tables for all our pots.
So that'll be covered in pots and stuff. And the other side, for the moment, we're going to leave without staging, so that we can have pots but with taller plants in, but they can still be protected.
And the back, I don't know if we mentioned, we're going to leave the back meter empty of staging so that we can plant trees. So maybe a mango, anything a little bit tropically that won't survive in a frost can go inside. So that's very exciting. So we'll have to get a greenhouse thermometer and see what the temperature
Good
does
idea.
in here. And it may be that we do what you would do in the UK when I had my greenhouse there. You can put bubble wrap on the inside as an extra insulation, or different plastics to give you like a double glazing effect.
And shade material in the summer for us, because the sun moves right across there.
Yeah, and already it's feeling sweaty and hot, which is a good sign from a plant perspective.
I'm at the asparagus patch today. We planted these asparagus in May and we haven't harvested any, or not supposed to harvest any, for the first 3 years, to let the crowns, which is the roots, get nice and strong. So we've just let them grow and do their own thing, and they've done really, really well considering the summer that we've had. But now it's time to chop these fronds down because they've started to go orange, which means they're not putting any more nutrients into the crown. And you can use these on your paths as a mulch. They're quite woody, so it takes a long time for them to break down. So the walking on them when they're on the path can actually help with that process. And it smothers out some of the weeds. And asparagus is quite a good crop if you can get it going and you're prepared to wait a couple of years before you start being able to harvest it. Because once it's going and it's strong, it just keep going forever. It's a perennial. Every year you get new spears and you can pick them right up until the solstice on June 21st. And after that you let them make these fronds instead of cutting the spears to eat, so that they can put more energy back into the roots. I'm quite pleased with how these have done, actually. This guy here, this is my goji berry, which I didn't know when I bought it, but it grows like a weeping willow. As you can see, it's all droodling over, and I've actually got goji berries on it, which is very exciting. That's it. That's that bed done. I'll go over there now. Look at these fabulous mushrooms. They just come up out of nowhere all over the place in our garden. Give you a closer look at my goji. So it's got loads and loads of foliage, all droodly. It could be a really tall bush, but instead of that it droodles. So I might put a stronger stake in to try and keep the middle a bit more upright, because at the moment this one's trailing all across the ground. And let's pick a couple of goji berries so you can see those. They're so cute. You can eat these like they are, or you can dry them. You can buy them dried. I imagine the reason you don't see them like this in supermarkets is they probably don't last very long. They're only teeny tiny. And very sweet. Kind of a floral flavour. And they're very good for you, full of vitamin C and lots of other good stuff. My next job today is to plant this rose. I was given it by Rosie for my birthday. It's a beautiful yellow rose, and I'm going to pop it behind this one, which I got last year from her for Christmas, which is a purple rose. So it's going to go just back there a little way underneath the shade of the apple tree. This one did so well here this year that I think it's probably a really good spot for roses. I have to be careful because this guy has absolutely super wicked thorns. They're enormous. Is that about right? I'm right at the top of it. I'm not sure if this rose is a climber or a bush. The one in front is going to be a bush, so it'll spread out sideways. And if this one chooses to climb, I'm thinking it can climb up the apple tree here. So at a later date, we could put a big trellis in behind where I'm standing and it can fan out that way. Yep, that looks about right. Lovely. I'm doing this today because we started getting some frosts on lately, and I didn't want its poor little exposed roots to get frost damaged. Get it in the ground, and then I'll give it a straw mulch to keep it toasty warm. It's fab. This area needs a little bit of a weed, but I can do that once the frost has killed off the worst of them.
So, thumbs up for the Vevor.
It was remarkably easy to put up, actually. I was
Yeah.
expecting to struggle with it for much longer than we did, and it just sort of popped up. Great.
So it's definitely a 2 to 3 person job, particularly putting the cover on.
Yep.
And I think it was probably on the shorter models would be easier to get the cover tighter. As I said, this is the largest model, which is 6 meters on the long side, 3 meters on the entrance and back, and 2.5 meters high, and they do them in reducing meters. So I'll put a link to all of those, because depending on the size of your garden or off-grid area, you might want a little one or a big one.
And then in a future video, we'll show you what we do with the door and the staging and how it looks when it's completely finished. We've got all the flaps open and everything.
It's all recommended, and thanks for watching what's going to be the first episode of Seeds, Seedlings and in the Greenhouse.
Great.
Ooh, a new series coming your way soon. Don't forget, give us a like and subscribe if you haven't done, so you can follow our adventures off-grid and now in the Polytunnel. Thanks for watching.
See you soon. Bye.